Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Denver, Colorado, and this is my buddy Puccini, who keeps me company in the craft room and sometimes comes and sits in the middle of whatever the project is I'm doing, and he is just such a sweetheart. Love him with all my heart. We have a very fun card for you. I have a fall birthday card and using Texture Chic. So let's just get started. Here is my card, and I have, oops, got little pieces here. And this opens this way. This little flap opens this way, and then the inside is here, and I've got some decorations on the inside. I think it's real pretty card using the Textured Sweet paper, and I'll show you. These are the two sheets that I'm using. Those two and this one are the ones that I'm using for this card out of this suite. And I have found in cutting these dies that because this gold paper is so thin, well, actually it's about the same heft as this paper, but that I was able to put these two pieces of paper together and run my dies through and cut both sheets at once. So it saved me quite a bit of time. And the dies are called Chic dies. There are 18 of them, and I used all of the leaves. I think there's 5 leaves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. And I cut a bunch of this one, and then I cut them both in this paper and the gold paper. Then I cut one each of these. You can see I cut it right there in the gold and the dark green. And then other paper that I used was this paper, and that is what I put on this strip here and on the outside of the card, and then just a strip to go on the inside and along this band. So let me tell you the exact pieces that you need to make this card. And oh, let me show you the stamp set while I'm at it here. This is the stamp set. It's called Season of Chic, and I used Wishing You the Best Birthday Ever. And you could put something on the inside. It says, you make each season of life even more beautiful. Love you, thinking of you. There's just all kinds of things you could do with this, but I thought with the leaves particularly, this one made a fun kind of birthday card for fall. So, and sort of not traditional colors for fall, but still very, very pretty. So let me grab my pieces here. I used a piece of soft succulent that is 8.5 by 5.5 scored and folded at 4 1/4, and that is my card base. Then I used another piece, and I'm showing you these in full, and then we'll cut them down and I'll show you how it was I used them, and I'm changing it up just a little bit. Okay, so this piece, I've changed the design a little bit since I cut this piece. This piece needs to be 3.5 by 5 1/4. Then I have 2 pieces, and this is where I'm changing this up. This band that I'm putting, I just had cut a longer piece here, and it just came around the back, and I think that looks a little weird. So I'm putting this piece together like this, because I wasn't crazy about this pattern on the back. Didn't think it went with the card, so we can make this piece back to back. It also makes it a little sturdier for the band, and it's going to go all the way across the back of the card, and then it's going to fold and come all the way across here, and in fact it's going to be a little bit long, but that'll give us a perfect fit. So these pieces are 1 and a, let's see, what are they? 1 1/4 inch by 8 3/4 inches. and there's 2 of them out of that color paper. Then there is this piece, which is a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4 inch for the inside. Then, let's see, I cut these pieces, which are also, these are a 1/2 inch by 8 3/4 inches. Since I'm going to have that wrap all the way around the card, I need these to do that as well. Then I used Petal Pink on the inside because it's got kind of an orange cast, a peachy cast anyway, and this paper has that kind of an orangish color in it. And this is 4 by 5 1/4. And I think, oh, one last little piece that you need. Let's see what happened to mine. And it's a 1 1/2 inch by 1 1/2 inch square to make this sentiment. It's here someplace, and I'm sure in a second I will find it. And if not, we'll just cut another one. But this is what you need to make this card. Now, this, I'm going to bring out my trimmer, and we're going to cut, I think I cut a 1/2 inch off of this. So I'm going to set this up at 1/2 inch on one side here and just cut that piece off. And we won't need that. And now I've got this look, so we can get ready to do this piece. And this piece needs to be cut down to 3 1/2 inches. So there we've got our 3 1/2. And originally, because I had these 2 pieces that I ended up cutting off, when I decided to change the design, I used those to make these pieces across here, and then ultimately I didn't like that it didn't wrap all the way around, so I changed it. So the other thing I'm changing is I'm moving this band a little bit further down so that I can get this sentiment piece pushed down a little bit further on the card, and I think that'll give it a little bit more balance. Right now it feels very top heavy to me. Okay, so I think that is all of the cutting. This piece is just going to go down on the card front here. Okay, I'm going to put some seal on the back of this piece and put that in place on the front of my card. This paper is just so pretty. It's really very, very attractive. This piece can go right on the inside of our card, and I'm going to put that in place, centered on the inside of my card. And then that little strip here is going to go right all the way up along the edge of this card. And we'll add some seal. Let's see, where's my silicone mat? I'm just going to make a mess otherwise. So, going to add some seal on the back of my strip and get that placed right along this edge of the card. And there we go, right along the edge. So that is in place there, and you can add an additional sentiment to the inside if you like. And I might just this little stamp that says love you might just be a little extra added touch on the inside. So I'll get that one all ready to go. All right. So next we have the band to make. So these pieces again are 8 3/4 of an inch long, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to use dot runner just in case, because these might be hard to line up. I suppose you could use liquid glue and then you'd have it perfectly, but I'm going to set this here, which I think is directly over the bottom piece, and then lining that up as I go. Along here to make that piece so that it's got this color paper on both sides of the band. Then I'm going to set this piece down right here, which is where I want this to be, but I'm going to set it down a bit lower on the card, and you can see here what I mean. I'm going to set this piece down. That would be where that one is, and I'm going to set it down like here. So I'm going to hold that in place because all the gluing happens on the opposite side. And with that being held in place right there, I'm going to finger press this along this side and not really score that, but get it put in place. And that way, if I need to make some small adjustment here, I can. And so there is that. Finger pressed there, and I think that's going to work. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my seal on the back side of this paper. And put that in place on the back of my card, right where I'm going to use my grid paper here to line this up. Get this put in place so that I know it's lined up straight. And then I want to measure here so that I make sure, and I'll push that right to the edge of there. Oh, that's not the way I wanted to do it. I wanted to have this piece come across here, and then anchor this piece across the back and have it come out on this side so that these two line up. And I can tell it's not straight. There, that's my grid paper helping me line that up. Then this should come across and come across to here. And then I'm going to use my bone folder to finish burnishing this so that it's right where I want it, even across the card. All right, and now that that's down and I'm pretty sure it's straight, I'm going to use my bone folder to just curl this paper a tiny bit so that it'll come back across this way. And by the time we get through putting all these pieces on it, it's got a little bit of weight and it stays shut. So now I can take this piece and cut it off so that it is absolutely a perfect fit. So I'm just going to snip that across that edge so that it doesn't show from the front, but it goes all the way back across the card, and I think that looks so much better than that. Oh, there's the piece I was looking for earlier, 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. Okay, so there we go. That's all set, and this piece is on the front. Now, I have these two pieces that are going to go on the front, and I'm going to start by putting these in place as well, just the same way. I'm going to start them here and put that across, and then anchor that and finger press it so that it comes all the way across the back side of this piece. And there, it's been cut perfectly. All right, then this piece is the same. I'm going to add my snail, and I put this piece just slightly down, oh, not quite 1/4 of an inch, just so that I could get that pattern to repeat there. Then I'm going to finger press this along here and get it to come all the way across. This one came out a little bit long, but that's perfect. I cut several pieces of this, and I can see that I didn't cut them all the same length, but this one is going to get snipped off there, and there we have our continuation of that, and that looks much cleaner across the back. And this is kind of rounded in this place to go over that, and then we're just going to open this up and burnish that in place really well so that it's encouraged to lay flat on the front of the card. There we go. All right, now we have our decorating to do. I've already die cut my pieces, so I've cut this beautiful lattice pattern. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just so pretty. And on this one, I had the gold come up over the green, and I think this time I'm going to do it the other way. So what I did was I just used my dot runner, and I'll put a link below the video. I know some of you use, this seal would not do well. You either have to use Tombow, or in the case of the dot runner, it really does leave the holes available here, and it doesn't gum up the piece. So I'm going to put this piece in place from bottom, kind of an angle, all the way up across here. Then I'm going to take this piece and do the same thing. And you just have to be gentle with this because it will pull apart because it's pretty delicate. Cuts beautifully, by the way, but I have an affiliate link to Amazon on my blog that I've just opened up, and I do get a small commission if you use that link to go in and like if you were to buy that. So let's see here, a little stray piece there. But there, that goes now and adds some additional decoration across the top here. Next, I have this leaf and this leaf up here in the corner with a gold smaller one. So I think I put this one down first, right up here in the corner. There we go. And then this one across it. Right in here. And then I have cut all kinds of leaves here. So I just need to find one of these smaller ones. There's a smaller one right there. And have that go right across here. And I think that'll do that corner. This is kind of fussy. It's got lots of pieces in it, but I think it came out so pretty. There we go. So now that is done. Now for our stamping. I have my little piece here, and I have my evening evergreen ink, and I have a bunch of stamps all ready to go. And they are the message itself, which is wishing you the best birthday ever. Then I've got a leaf. I've got this kind of splatter and this splatter. Okay, and I've got a little bit of scratch paper here. So let me move a couple things out of the way. All right. So the idea here was to get the material on this little piece of paper fairly lightly. So, and it almost came out too dark on this one. So I'm going to stamp off, and then add this to this piece. And there we go. All right. Stamp off, and put that piece on there. Then this leaf, same thing, stamp off, and then put this leaf kind of across here. Then I wanted this little splatter to be a little bit darker, but I'm going to just stamp off once, and I'm going to add that splatter there. There. Okay. So it's kind of messy, but I thought it added a little bit to the kind of look of this. So I've got my sentiments here, and I'm going to do that in full strength right across my piece here. And there. Wishing you the best birthday ever. I wish that was a little darker. I might have to do this again. So let me try this again. Stamp off, put some of this splatter down. And then the leaf pattern, just someplace on there. I do want to see the leaf. And then this small splatter, stamp off only once and get it down here. There we go. That's a little bit more like it. And I think what I'm going to do, because I want that message down there and I want it real dark, so I'm just going to take this stamp. I'm going to clean up my stamp a little bit here, and I'm going to mount that on my Stamparatus. And so I can get this down here exactly the way I want it. So I've got a little bit of sticky tape there. And I'm just going to line that up there. Well, it's not being very sticky. And just put the very edge of that on there, and then this right in here, because I want that nice and dark, and I don't have my cushion in there, so flying without a net here. So I'm going to put my Evening Evergreen on my stamp here, and that way I know I can stamp it a couple of times to get it on here just the way I want it, and get it nice and dark so there's no question about the size of the sentiment or what it says. There. That's beginning to be like I wanted. And Stamparatus saves the day. I think that looks pretty good, because there's no question that I can read that. Maybe one more time on the birthday here. I think maybe my there we go. There we go. Perfect. All right. So now I'm going to pull that off. And what I did was I took a little tiny corner rounder. This is one I've had forever, back when we did Project Life. And what I did was I just stuck it in here and I did rounding on opposite corners. And that gives you kind of a cool look, I think. So now I have the opportunity to put this down here a little bit further and to cement this in, making it look like it's not just floating on air. I am going to add a little bit of the dark ink around the edge of this to give it a little bit of definition. Now I can place this right down here and see how much more balanced that looks than that. And then we have a lot of yet to do decorating on our piece here, but I think that will do what we want it to. And then for the inside, I'm going to use a little bit of this splatter here, stamped off once anyway, and stick that right up in this corner. Oh dear, that is not what I wanted. Let me try that again. Nice thing about a splatter is nobody's expecting it to be perfect. So I'll see if I can't get that in the middle. There we go. That works. And then I have my Love You stamp that I'm going to ink up really, really well. And I'm going to stick that Love You right here in the corner. I think that looks very nice. And then we'll add some more decoration on the inside. Okay, so that is our stamping done. And I think I'm going to like the balance of this card a lot better. So I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back of this. And put that into place right in here. I think that is just about perfect, and I like that look so much better. I think it's much, much, much more balanced. Okay, now on this band, I think you can just go crazy. Okay, so we're going to continue adding a bunch of these leaves here. Excellent. Now for the inside, I did add a few leaves. I added one of these big, beautiful dark ones and one of the gold. So I think I will, let's see if I can just move a few of these things out of the way here. And I'm going to put the gold one down, I think, first. And I'm going to move it over just a little bit from that corner because I don't necessarily want those stems to show at the top there when this is closed. So now I'm going to add this dark green one right here in the corner, and then maybe, oh, this little gold one right across in here. And there we go. And that is my decoration for the inside. Then the last thing I added, as though this needed any more bling, I did add some of our new pearls, and they come in this soft green and gold. Just find them here. Okay, so the pearls are called Red and Green adhesive back pearls, and there are some red ones way up here in this package towards the top. So there's some red ones here, green, silver, and gold. And what I did on this was, I love this little green pearl, so I put a little green pearl here on the side with a gold because I thought that matched the gold that I was doing here. Then I put 2 green pearls here. I'm going to put one kind of down there and one right along the edge there. And if you're worried about those coming off, sometimes I will add just a little piece of Tombow underneath when I put those on. And then again, right up here at the top, I added 2 of the green ones, one more to the inside, pardon me, here, and then one little gold one to the outside. There is my card. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, well, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. Joining Stampin' Up! Is always a good thing. And $125 worth of product for $99, and you start out with a 20% discount. Joining now means that your first minimum isn't due, until the end of the year. There's some special weekly deals where Stampin' Up! Has got some things on sale. There's another sale going to happen this month, and I'll try and keep those posted on my blog. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips.